Today we're going to talk about tools required to secure real estate investing. Good morning, my name is Bob Irwin and I'm with MB Enterprises. Today we're going to talk about tools required to secure real estate investing. Tools that you might use on an everyday basis that will bring you into a relationship with sellers that you would be interested in or would be interested in you, such that you can purchase their property and make a profit from it. So let's roll. Learn your local GIS, Government Information System. It's a website. The state of North Carolina, in which I live and reside, has 100 counties in it. Each one has its own government information system. What do I mean by that? Guilford County, for example, Davie County, Columbus County, Ashe County, all of these different counties have a government information system on it that record tax information, that record every piece of property, residential, commercial, the whole 9 yards, their tax information, who owns them, how long they've owned them, if they're behind in their taxes. All of that information is public information. You must know how to navigate that GIS, Government Information System. What I suggest that you do, and I'm going to give you some homework now before I forget, that whatever county that you're living in, you need to go and look at that GIS system for Davie County, for Randolph County, for whatever county it is in, and look at your own property, the property that you might rent, that you live in, a gas station down at the corner, 123 Main Street, and I want you to know who the owner of that property is, what their specific address is. If it isn't the address of 123 Main Street that you're looking at, I want you to know the approximate square feet of that particular house and the yard or the area of the property itself. So that's your homework, understanding government information systems. Second item, you need to know how to use software, social media, maybe Facebook. You can purchase a prescription to a given piece of software, such as TrueFinder or other pieces of software, where you can actually find owners. Some owners don't want to be found. A lot of property owners a lot of property is owned by LLCs, companies, S corporations, C corporations, what have you, and they don't want to be found. Lots of times when it's a person, they don't want to be found either. But you can go and take the name that you find on the government information system and use that to find out where exactly that they are, and you can write documentation. You can contact them through that piece of software that you might use, Facebook, TrueFinder, and others. There's many out there. It's what you call skip tracing, so to speak. Another tool that you're going to use is a document, contract. You're going to need to have purchase and sale agreements. You're going to need to know these contracts backwards and forwards. You're going to need to read these contracts because you're going to be presenting folks with these. What I would do is to get a contract from your team member, your real estate attorney, and or your real estate broker, and get that contract, read it over, go through it with them so that you know exactly what it says, how it says it, and where you might have glitches if you run across a seller who might have some issues or something of that nature with the contract. You're going to also need to know leases. You get a lease, say for instance a rental lease, you as the owner of this property are going to need to know that lease inside and out until you find a property manager that will be able to handle these properties for you. So those are at least two documents that you're going to need to know inside and out. I've developed what I call a magic letter. That magic letter is something that when I'm fishing for, we'll get into that in the next segment, But when I'm fishing for owners of vacant properties and things of that nature, I've developed what I call a magic letter that I can send off to these people. Know what that letter says. Know how it says it. Know the tone of the letter. You develop this letter and you create it for a given season, like tax season. When January comes around and taxes are due, or when the letters go out in July, I believe it is, in my particular county, and taxes are due then in September, you get a little discount if you pay in September, but they're really due and you will be in default if you don't pay by January. But I will put in my magic letter a note that says something to the effect that taxes are due now. I see that you're $5,000 behind in taxes. Can I help you with those taxes, with that bill? The magic letter. Another item is, how do you introduce yourself to a given seller? Remember, we talked about an elevator pitch. My name is Bob Irwin. I'm with MB Enterprises. We purchase property, we sell property. I'm a landlord. I hold mortgages, and I do this to support my family and help my kids through college. Period. Shut up and let them answer. Then, the last thing, I have a document here, and this is what I call my portfolio. This is the third of three that I use. I record each and every success that I have. The HUD statements, the contract, all of that information is recorded in each one of these three books. I'm looking at a fourth book as well. I've been doing this for multiple years, double digits, 13, 14 years, and each one of these successes that I've had, I put into this book, and it validates what I'm doing, because there will be times when you don't get phone calls, when your marketing isn't working, and you need to encourage yourself. I look back at this, look at some of the checks that I've made, some of the phone calls that I've made, and even I would suggest for those of you who are starting out brand new, that you even record your phone calls, the successes that you have with your phone calls. Why? Because it gives you a sense of balance. It will point you in the right direction when things aren't going right, and you can look back at even a phone call and say, I talked to Mrs. Smith a couple of weeks ago. Let me reach back to her and find out what's going on with that property. You record that information, her phone number, a little bit about the house, and all this kind of stuff. Maybe you didn't get the deal, and you need to understand why you didn't get the deal, so that next time comes around, you can pull up that information, and Mrs. Jones or Mr. Jones or whoever it is that you're dealing with, you can encourage yourself prior to making that phone call or that meeting with those folks, so that you can be successful at it. So, know your failures and your successes. Record them. Record them, record them. So in closing, I say, once again, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Remember, recycle that house.